done. Here we are
And
with the one and only David Mooney. I'm so excited. I really am. This is
so good to
amazing.
connect.
I know.
So we're going to be talking about movement medicine, this deep practice that I've been dancing for, I don't know, at least 11 years.
11 years.
hmm Since its
And
inception.
was it 11 years ago, its inception?
I think
Okay.
it was about 11 years, yeah.
And this is why you're a part of the, I say why, you're part of the faculty.
Yes, part of the faculty of movement medicine. There's 8 of us on the faculty for the school. And we work with Susanna and Yakov, who are the founders of movement medicine, um, fairly closely to
Amazing.
help kind of uplift and bring the community on and um, find ways for the grassroots of this practice to grow.
I watched some of their videos and interviews, and they are exceptional people. You can just sense their mission and purpose, and they they're so connected to that in a pure, loving way that is not in any way forceful, and that they get the high. I sense that they get their high and joy from watching other people go through it. You know, that you could really sense it from them because they describe that and they light up. So I thought it was beautiful to watch that, actually, to hear the interview of them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's beautiful. This practice is embedded in that reciprocity of witnessing and being witnessed. A lot of the practices of the
Mm,
deeper journeys of movement medicine involve a lot of witnessing and being witnessed from that benevolent witness place, so that we can get to know that benevolent witness inside of ourselves, so that we can create a little witnessing of our own self and the dance that's happening inside, number one, and the sovereignty of the dancer inside, and also to have some benevolent witnessing of the places that we the familiar places that we visit, so that we can bring
mhm.
resource and movement to them to bring a little more creativity.
Yeah, just muted them also. Um, it's funny, that whole witnessing. The first time I hadn't quite grasped that on the first day, but the second day I did more, and by the end I really did, and I felt the energy even through Zoom. How the people are very. I mean, it was with your guidance. I have to tell you, you guide in such a tremendous way, and through your guidance, and then everybody involved in making that energy come through the screen for all of us to kind of support each other. I felt that with each day more and more. By the end, it was very moving because there really is. You so beautifully describe it on this circle, or this energy that we've all committed to show up for the 6 weeks of the program that you had created. And although I heard you mentally, by the end I felt it. So that was something that was also an interesting change within me.
Yes, yes. I mean, there's a real power in witnessing, and so witnessing ourselves in the dance and being witnessed and witnessing each other. Um, that wisdom of quantum physics, where I know very little about quantum physics, and the more I read about it, the less I know about it. It's quite
Mm,
a
isn't it
mystical
funny?
practice, but there's a lot in that about the when something is witnessed, it can come more into form and clarify more. And I love that. And it's like the old ways of dancing, where you see in lots of indigenous practices, where there's just some people dancing, and then there's a whole community of witness, like a witnessing bowl to receive that and to
Mm,
be with that. So there's that reciprocity of the dancers dancing and then the witnesses receiving the medicine of that, and also offering their presence. I mean, that is one of the greatest gifts you can offer someone, is your presence, to shine the light for another, and to shine a light for your own sovereign dancer as you're moving, and to witness your own dance and to witness another. It's a very, like, I would agree that that is one of the greatest gifts that I receive as a teacher, is to be able to witness others in the dance. It just, lights my heart up and cracks
Mm.
me open very often, and I'm very
Wow.
grateful for that.
And with how you described it and how I experienced it, it really was, as you said, this witness, as because they're expressing sort of a gift of their own dancer within them. So it wasn't an analysis, it wasn't competitive, it was really um, this this way of really noticing their light. I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can mute everybody and mute yourself back. But yeah, all good. So yeah, there was this the observing the light and gift within each person through their movement, so I had always believed in that, owned that. It was just nice to see it from different backgrounds, people that just came without necessarily any kind of experience per se, but just this expression of wanting to to feel that within themselves. So it's vulnerably beautiful, so yeah, it was really, really nice.
Beautiful. So,
Good.
hello, Anya and Julie and Lance and Linda and Cynthia and
Yes.
there's on the iPad. Hello, folks, and all of you on Facebook.
Yes.
So,
So
look, we're going to have a chat about movement medicine,
yes,
and
go
then
ahead, and then
learn
we're gonna
about
dance.
movement medicine, taste it, have a
Love
little
it.
taster of the practice in movement. How fantastic!
Amazing. So I wanted to start, first of all, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up today, David. Like when Carrie said, we can do it with David, I nearly fell on the floor. I said, what? He'll show up for us? He said, yes, he will. So I really want to thank you, because I honor you for doing that. Like, I know it's late in Ireland right now, so that you're ending your night with us. So thank you so much. I wanted to share uh, what it had done for me, because I was introduced to movement medicine by sort of a fluke, from Carrie's daughter, Sky. She just said, I know you dance, you're gonna love this, do it. And I'm a type of person that says yes a lot. I just say yes before I even try to overthink or investigate, because before I said yes to her, I shared this with some of my friends. I said, well, during this COVID period, I want to find something, an outlet to really experience my creative energy, because I feel stuck right now. And I now have the time, because I'm not working, to kind of free flow in this. What can I do? I mean, I picked up the guitar, I did a bunch of different things. I was doing a bunch of different things. And then, Sky shows up and says, do this. I said, you know what? This might be the thing. And so I joined without knowing, had no clue what it was about. I didn't even prepare myself to look it up. What is movement medicine? I just said, let's do this. And the beauty of what it did for me is not, it allowed me to find another form of movement expression that was outside of what I was used to. And then through your guidance and your words and your description, I went mentally into my imagination. You kind of gave me and us permission, go in there. So I said, okay, I'm going to go there. And then I start seeing things and I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually seeing these animals and I'm seeing, oh my God, what's happening here? And you sense that, or whatever it is that you do, and each time through your guidance allow us to accept what the visions that we're having. And then I started to free flow and I was like, wow, I'm loving this experience. And then outside of that, what it did was allowed me to create a workshop for movement, to some degree, a sensual movement, where I teach women about sensuality and femininity. And Doris, who's actually here, you won't understand how even your words imprinted something in me, because you said, you need to start showing us how to move like this, Patty. You shared that at one of my workshops. And I heard through the experience with David, through the words that Doris had shared, I said, I'm going to do this. And it provided an outline or frame for me to actually create something, which wouldn't have been there, I know, if I hadn't done movement medicine. I would have been in that, the only way I knew how, and I needed something to open up for me to show me something else. And that's what, for me, the movement medicine did. So it was big, because I never thought I would have been able to tap into that creative part of me, because I felt it was dead or dull, if that makes any sense. So yeah.
Beautiful to hear, Patty. Really beautiful, very inspiring to hear your experience of movement medicine. And I really that one of the things that's very inspiring is that you'd no reference point for movement medicine. You'd never done any movement medicine before, and that's, I guess that's the essence of this practice, is that there's no prerequisites to be a dancer. There's no um, things that you have to do in order to engage with this practice, because this practice is really an orientation towards, and there's practices to help this. There's very simple frames and practices to help this, so that we can awaken what we call the dancer inside of us. And what does that mean? That means awaken our awareness to the dance that's happening inside us all of the time. So there are rivers moving through the body that are, if you were to stretch them out, would stretch around the earth 3.5 times. The heart beats over 100,000 times every day. The organs are in deep conversation with each other to regulate and to exchange lots of different information. So there's this deep intelligence and this deep creative dance that's happening inside of us. That is, well, I heard this beautiful phrase. It comes from a Jewish prayer. I'm not Jewish, but I was deeply inspired by it. It says that there is a divine voice that sings through all of creation, and that's essentially it. That's what it's pointing to. It's pointing to this creativity and this divine song, this divine dance that dances through us all of the time. So it's about allowing the prefrontal cortex to engage with the rest of the brain, the back part of the brain, and the deep intelligence of the dancing body, of the earth of the body, of this divine song that sings through all of creation, that is awake and alive in all of us. So it's an orientation, it's a shift of perspective, it's a focusing of attention to that deep creativity that is inside us, so that we can go into that river and resource and nourish ourselves and be inspired by that, to remember who we are and what we're connected to. So it's not about learning how to dance, it's about remembering, remind ourselves, to remind the mind and the imagination and our attention and our consciousness in this extraordinary body that has been evolving for 4.2 billion years in many different forms. When you think of all the forms of evolution that have been created on this amazing earth, and we're part of that, and that creativity is moving through us and dancing through us and singing through us all of the time. So this practice is about coming into relationship with that, what's called the unbroken, that unbroken song of nature. If you imagine the song of the waves, or the song of the wind going through the leaves in a forest, or even bird song, when you think about it, the ears, the shape, we've got kind of funny ears, don't we, as humans? But the ears have evolved over many billions of years into this particular shape to amplify birdsong. We're deeply connected to nature. We're deeply embedded in the creativity of nature. And that was so that we could find our way to fruit and trees. But also, for me, it's about we're deeply interrelated with the creativity of life. So that's essentially what this practice is. And the good news is you don't have to learn about it. We just offer these simple tools and practices for you to remember.
That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. And it's funny because one of the things that happens with the few people that I've met that are regular practitioners or very much involved in movement medicine, and I'm reaching out to Carrie right now, specifically to Carrie, there's a sense of peace that is in her energy. Because I've noticed there's a conditioning that we need to kind of show up a certain way in order to be loved, accepted, or whatever that is. And then what I noticed from Carrie, and I'm not just saying movement medicine people, but there's certain people that have that when you embody this sort of being, whether it's, as you're describing, this connection to nature, this remembering of who we are and how we're all intertwine, there's a peace that I felt, and I felt that strongly from Carrie when I spoke with her, that I was very much taken by. So it's that, I don't know how else to describe it, but this sense of being that is at peace and okay. And so I really sense that from you, and I wanted to share that with you, Carrie, because I really love that. When I see you dance or whenever you speak, there's this wisdom of being that is there. So it's wonderful, and I want that. I want to feel
Oh,
that more and more.
that's very sweet of you, Patty. And I want David to speak more, but I just want to acknowledge that David is my first movement medicine teacher. I met him in Dublin, and I walked in his workshop, and if there is a piece there, he's part of the whole practice is part of contributing to that, finding that inner dancer, my dancer, and learning how to dance with even these times that we're in now has been huge. So thank you for acknowledging that, Patty. I really
Well,
appreciate it.
of
Thank you,
course.
David.
Beautiful, Carrie. Very lovely to hear.
Yeah.
And that what you're speaking to, I guess, Patty, my experience of that in my own dance and my own practice over the years that I've been dancing is these two fundamental places in movement medicine that are right at the core of the practice of receiving ourselves as we are. And we all know how challenging that is. We all know the places in ourselves that we find difficult to accept. And we all know the places in ourselves which can be overwhelming or difficult to engage with. This practice is really using the resource of this practice, engaging with that creativity of the dancer inside, so that we can meet and greet and befriend and bring movement to the places that have been under-resourced for whatever reason. Sometimes for good reason, they've been tucked away, or they've been frozen, or they've been sent out, or they've been locked away. This practice is really based on the foundation of therapeutic practices of understanding how emotions get stuck in the body, how certain
Mm-hmm.
thought patterns help us to manage things that we have found in the past probably unmanageable. So this practice is really about bringing resource so that we can more and more move this way, just land and befriend and meet and sit in our own seat and rest and relax in our own being, so that we can be resourced and meet as creatively as we can what's happening outside of us. There's a lot happening, right? And this practice is about bringing ground and resource and fluidity, and the courage of the fire and the breath, so that we can meet what's happening in the world right now. So I have found that there have been plenty of places where over the years where I've judged myself quite strongly, and I've found that the inner critic has been very strong. And over the years, this practice has helped me to soften the inner critic, has helped me to befriend my emotions, has helped me to befriend the places that were difficult to be with. And inside of those places, I found deep medicine and compassion and empathy for others. That practice of interoception, of having the resource to be able to listen and be with what's happening inside, that's the fertile ground for empathy and
Mm.
compassion for others. When we can move with and be with our own wounding, our own hurt, and our own places of challenge, we can allow that to be accepted, and then bring movement, and then also recognize that in life there's suffering, and it doesn't mean that we have to be driven by that. We can dance with that, so that becomes medicine. That becomes a place to actually be more intimate with ourselves, and to be more present for our relationship with others, and to have more breadth of empathy and compassion and ground to be with difference, and to have that perspective that we can maybe walk in other shoes a little bit more, that we can have those circles of connection a little more fluidly present in our lives. And that has been a huge part of this journey, is befriending my emotions and through these dance practices, and to lean into something bigger, to really ask for support in the dance, to lean into something bigger, so that I can show up in life and give what I've got to give in this life.
Oh, that is beautifully said. And it was I felt it because a few times with your guidance, I went there. So thank you. I felt it even now. That's beautiful. So I actually think, before I break down and start crying some more, why don't we have everybody experience some of your guided movement meditation and take us through that. And at the end, David will reserve some time for questions from anybody, whether you're on Facebook or on Zoom. If you have some questions for him, he'll stay at the end a little bit to answer some of that. And also, we'll be talking about, he has 2 workshops coming up that I highly, highly recommend. They're so affordable, so affordable. I will be posting links for that and sending it through email to everybody, because they are worth experiencing. Take 6 weeks out of your life, once a week, to make yourself important. And that's what I'm going to be doing with him again. So I'll be sharing that with everybody at the end. So I will let you take it away. I'm going to put everybody on gallery. We are going to go, we are live. We're going to move. Those of you who are not, perhaps, I think, David, I don't know if they don't feel comfortable showing themselves, they can stay black. If you can show yourself.
Absolutely.
Whatever people are comfortable in.
Great. So I noticed my my little studio's falling down.
It's falling apart in the back. I saw that. Real time.
There we go. It. Very professional setup.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll have a little taster of this practice. So you're absolutely free to be on camera, off camera, to connect with each other, to drop into the dance yourself. And you can actually do this practice standing up if you wish to. Might be good to do that. Or if you don't feel to, you can stay seated. And that's entirely possible to do this practice and to get a taster of this. But if you feel to, come to your feet. Great. So come to your feet and stretch out into the space around you and just take a few breaths. So we're going to take a little journey through this practice of movement medicine. And what is really helpful to begin, just to focus the mind, it's a little meditation that comes from Qigong Tai Chi, is to take a breath in and stretch up towards the sky, and breathe out. Gently bring the hands back down. So let the exhale be a little longer than the inhale. And just do that 3 times. So breathing in, stretching up towards the sky, the stars, the sun. Exhale, slowly bring the hands back down with the exhale. And again, breath in. This helps just to focus the mind on the breath and this simple movement. And just do this 2 more times in your own way. You can have your eyes open or closed. Just bring your attention into the breath, into the body. Just let the body move. Take a few deep breaths. Welcome yourself into the breath and into the body, and just stretch out into the space around you with your arms. That's it, good. Stretching out to the left and right and in front of you. Yeah, good. Yawning if you need to yawn. Just stretch out with the hands to the space above you, to the left, to the right, to the edge of your reach. And just see your fingers, see the tips of your fingers meeting the edge of your reach in any direction. That's great. And what I'd like you to do is bring the focus of your attention. It's like the sharpness of focus, like of a camera. So the sharpness of focus of your eyes is just on your hands for a moment as you map out a circle all the way around you. Right, this is really helpful for focusing the mind here in what we call in your own circle. Often our attention is elsewhere, but this simple practice of breathing and then seeing the hands mapping a circle out, and let your attention be in that circle, in as far as you can reach around you. It's like in your imagination you're mapping out a circle all the way around you, and bring your attention inside of that circle. The electromagnetic field of the heart expands several feet out into the space around you. So this is what we call in movement medicine activating your circle and bringing your attention inside your own circle. So you don't have to concern yourself about what anyone else is doing right now. Just bring your attention back into the body, into the breath, into this simple awakening of your attention in the moving body. Breathing and let the body melt into motion. Beginning with the shoulders, just release the shoulders into movement. We carry a lot of tension in our shoulders, so just let the shoulders melt into motion. And keep bringing your attention into the body as you let the body move in the space around you. We're going to take a little journey through the body part by part to connect and free up the body into motion. So there's nowhere you need to get to in this practice. There's no particular way you need to move. This is just an opportunity to get a flavor of this practice of freeing up the body into free movement and awakening the dancer from deep inside. Follow the breath into the moving body as you welcome the shoulders and the elbows to move freely. Wrists and hands, welcome to join in. So there's really no wrong way to awaken a dancer. It's simply about bringing your attention back into the body and moving freely from inside the moving body in the space around you. The full length of the arms, the head, neck and shoulders. Giving the body permission to move fluidly and freely, and let the mind find refuge in the moving body. Let the mind open into the moving body, so it doesn't have to be stuck in the prefrontal cortex. You can let the mind open into the moving body. Right. Shaking and releasing the body into motion. That's it. That's great. The backbone, the sides of the body free to move. So awakening to the fluidity that is always within you. The rivers, the rain, the oceans. Let this fluidity release the body into the dance as you welcome the hips, the full length of the backbone, the hips. To breathe and move, to connect and shape. So in this practice, there's no need to push. You can let the dance do the work, so you don't have to think about it. Just let the body release itself into motion. The hips, the thighs, the knees. The lower legs, that's it, there you go, that's it. The lower legs and the feet. Good. Beautiful. So the whole body free to move in the space around you, and free to move from inside the body. You can even imagine or see in your mind's eye the skeleton of the body and the many joints of the body and the different ways that these joints can move in relationship to each other. So let yourself be curious about the vocabulary of movement in the body. Bring your attention into the body. You can have the eyes open or closed. Let yourself move with the dance that's happening inside of you all the time. Right. Feet, knees, the hips, the backbone, the sides of the body, the shoulders, the elbows, the hands, the neck and head. Earth of the body moving on the body of the earth. To expand and contract, just like that ancient dance of the breath that expands and contracts, that nourishes the blood. Good, beautiful. Awakening the dancer you are, moving at the center of your own circle, earth beneath you, sky and sun above you, fluidity inside of you, and the breath of life reminding you that you can expand and contract. You can bring your attention and follow the breath inside the dance and move freely. Beautiful. You are a dancer. Through the dance, you can connect with the creativity that is alive and dancing and moving through you. Sometimes you could speed up, sometimes slow down. Take a deep breath and raise your arms up towards the sky and the sun. Let the imagination make this connection in your dance with the light of the sun, with the fire. As you bring the hands back down, imagine yourself bringing those shafts of light into the moving body to connect with the light in every cell of your being. Take a few minutes to move with the fire, with the sun, with the light of the sun. There are many qualities of the fire. To give the body permission to be creative. And a few minutes to dance with the fire, to awaken that energy of fire, to give yourself permission to express and shape and move and dance, to gently let your foot off the brakes in the dance. So no need to push, let the dance do the work for you. That's it, there you go, give yourself back to the dance, let the dance do the work for you. Give yourself permission to move freely with liquid fire, with dynamic fire, with shape and movement. Give yourself permission to be creative in how you move. Good. Keep giving yourself permission. Take a couple more minutes to dance with that energy of fire. Let yourself be nourished. By awakening the fire in your dance. Earth and fire. Another 2 minutes with this simple practice with the imagination, the moving body, the creativity of the dancer you are. However you're feeling, whatever condition you're in, give yourself permission. That's it. Good. That's it. Yes. That's it. That's it. Say yes to your dance. Give your dance permission. Beautiful. Welcome this dance, earth and fire and breath and wind, spreading your arms like wings as you welcome the spirit of the wind. Earth, illumination of your dance, and dancing with the wind, with the breath. Let the arms unfold like wings and take flight in the dance with the dance of breath, of air, of wind. As that beautiful grandmother of these practices, Anna Halpern, would say, dance is breath made visible. Just like the wind, you are free to move, free to awaken the imagination, free to be creative, free to invite simplicity, free to move and shape in many different ways. Inviting the possibility of enjoyment and pleasure in your dance as you move. Nowhere to get to, simply arriving in this creative moving body, this dance with the air. Beautiful. Let your dance take flight. Another 2 minutes with the dance of the wind. You can even imagine yourself dancing with the winged ones. That's it. Beautiful. Yes. 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 You are the wind dancing. The breath of life is dancing through you. It always has been. This mantra of dance, of breath of life. That is dancing through you to nourish and cleanse the earth and waters of our being, of our mind, of our body, of the heart. dancing with the waters, the rain, the rivers, the oceans. 4 minutes to dance with this. Waters of life, the creativity, the shape-shifting qualities of the waters. Our physical beings are mostly made of water, the same consistency of the oceans. Let the ocean of your being unfold into motion and movement and dance and shape with the waters of life. Let the body rest in the creativity. Just like the wind, the waters connect all of life. Breathing as you move, giving the body a little more permission. That's it. Get inside that dance. Dive into the rivers to nourish the heart, to welcome fluidity to the mind, and to quench the body, bring cleansing. Remind you that you are a fluid, creative being. And the creativity of the waters is dancing through you always. As we say in Ireland, Ishkabaha, the waters of life. Let this water dance nourish the marrow of the bones, nourish the blood. Beautiful. Yeah, great. Earth, fire, water, wind, and ether. The space between all things. Space in which we can witness the dance as we dance. Another 3 minutes to give shape to what you've been moving with. To receive the dance you've been dancing. To listen to, as you move, what this offers you to move in this way. So bring the focus of your attention back into your own circle so that you can listen. As you move, you can let the dance show you, as you shape, what it offers you to move in this way. And if you will, to give thanks to the earth, to the earth of your being, to the earth beneath your feet. To the sun above. And the light in your heart. To the sacred waters of life, whether within you, in the oceans, in the rain, and in the rivers. And to that sacred gift we are given again and again, the breath of life. Beautiful. Another minute. We dance to remember who we are, what we're connected to. Deeper dance of life, the divine voice that sings through all of creation. Another moment to bring this to completion. Find a simple shape. That gives a flavor of what you've been dancing with, just so you can receive this. And it's a simple way of receiving the echo of your dance. Take a few deep breaths. And well done. Yes. Fantastic. Let's come and sit together again.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe how quickly that goes.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for diving into the dance in this way. Thank you, Paddy, Carrie, Lance, Sky, Mary, Alicia, Doris, Helene, Helena, Alpina, Alpine, Lids, Sharani, Pilar, Linda, Julie, Anya, Kelly, Melanie, and I don't know who's on the iPad. Thank you very much, folks. Really beautiful to be with you, and all those who are on the Facebook Live. Thank you so much. And little flavor, a little taste of this practice called movement medicine. Hope you enjoyed it. feel free to write in the Zoom chat anything you want to share about the practice,
Yes.
your
If
experience, this little
uh,
taker.
I'm looking through some messages if anybody wrote or on Facebook. If people have questions for David, now is the chance. I know Shirani mentioned, I'd love to know how David came to movement medicine.
How I came to movement medicine? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I came to movement medicine through really not wanting to be in a body. Finding that there was a lot in the body that I didn't want to meet. So I found my way when I was about 19 to psychotherapy. And then I did this amazing practice. So I did some psychotherapy to really meet the challenges of being human, and all of that was carried undigested in my heart. And then I discovered soon after that this practice called the Hoffman process. I don't know if any of you know that. It's Bob Hoffman. A lot of beautiful creative practices come from the States. Deeply grateful for that. And this Hoffman process was a 10-day program for working with patterns that we hold, that are from our epigenetics, from our parents, from passed down the lineages. And it was a very beautiful practice. And one of the things they recommended from that was 5 rhythms. And I dived into 5 rhythms. I absolutely loved it. And this practice of movement medicine comes from the fertile ground of 5 rhythms. Yaakov and Susanna did a 22-year apprenticeship with Gabrielle Roth. So another amazing practice that came from the States. And I danced quite a lot. I danced with Gabrielle, I danced with a lot of 5 rhythms teachers, and I met Yaakov and Susanna, and just Yaakov and Susanna are the founders of movement medicine. So pretty soon after I met them, I felt that that was my path to dance with them quite often. And I did for 18 years. And then about 5 years in, they developed a practice called movement medicine, which is a synthesis of the ecstatic lineages, the ecstatic dance practices, which Gabrielle was so fundamental in bringing to the world. And the understanding of neuroscience, of epigenetics, of gestalt therapy, of the polyvagal nervous system, and how neuroception informs an awful lot of how we meet the world with overwhelm or underwhelm, and all these places of titration, of Peter Levine, of the wisdom of the animal body. And that leads into the indigenous wisdom of where these practices that we've been doing on my lands in Ireland for many, many generations, of meeting and dancing with and resourcing ourselves with the elements and the map of the elements, because we're made of that. That's where it's an immanent practice. And the wisdom of indigenous peoples from all over the world, where there's a remembering of who we are and what we're connected to, and we're deeply interconnected with all of life. And then how we can listen to the song of nature to teach us about how to resource ourselves as humans in a sensitive heart, in a courageous heart, in a body that holds emotion, that holds wisdom, that can often teach us about what we need to give attention to, and also the amazing creativity of the mind and the capacity to imagine and the potency of imagining, and how that brings us into relationship with the unseen creativity, or the hidden in plain sight creativity and medicine of nature within us, all around us, and the wisdom of the heart, and the emotional terrain of the heart, and the deep wisdom of the dreaming heart, of the healing heart, of our capacity to feel, and to that as a gateway to be in relationship with. So I've been dancing movement medicine since its inception, and I'll probably continue until my last breath and hopefully beyond. I deeply love
Yeah.
this practice. It's given me so much that I can't not share the fruits of what I've received in this practice. And that's one of the greatest gifts, just to pass it on.
Mm.
So I hope that answers some of the question.
Yes, it did definitely, at least for me, it did. And I really do feel that from you, this sense of also this radiance, this inner contentment and happiness that, and whether it's because we carry so much tension of how we need to be, that this is what it allows me to be, is just trust the freedom of it, without anything else. So it just feels good because I don't, it's the place that I don't have to try to follow a specific roadmap, and just let the words and the imagination take over, and the music and all of that's great. So and it took a while for me to get there because I was so used to following this specific roadmap. So I find with the way I dance within roadmaps and this is such a beautiful synergy now, because it I find it's created more freedom within that structure for me, is what I noticed. So
Fantastic.
it's been great. Thank you. So I think if there aren't too many more questions, I do want to talk about your Circle of Connections workshop that you'll be starting. I think it's next month, correct?
That's right. On the 9th. Oh, what date is it, Carrie?
There's two that I'm going to
Oh,
put them in the chat box. One is on Wednesdays and one is on Sundays.
we can't. We'll have to turn up there, Carrie. Can't Carrie? Oh,
Sorry, David.
there's the
One,
event in the chat.
yeah. Can you hear me, Patty?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No.
We can hear you, Carrie. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one starts Wednesday, July 8th, and the second one, the same course, is Sunday, July 12th, in the mornings. And yes, they're on the Movement Medicine USA page, and Patty also will share in them.
Yeah, I shared in the link.
Oh,
I'll
they're
put it
there
on the,
right there.
yeah, they're there, and I'll put it on my
Amazing.
Facebook, and I'll send an email with this recording to everybody with the links. So yes, so they're going to be for 6 weeks, correct? There's a limit of 30 people that can be in this, because I know for you having this community, consistent community every week, because we're all in partnership, is very important. So
Yeah, that's right. I think we said 26, right? Yeah. Say again?
28.
oh,
28.
I
Okay.
said
Yeah.
30. Whoops.
So it's
That's
actually
okay.
so I can. It's actually so I can see everyone. And
Oh,
one of the inspirations of this is the challenge of, as a movement teacher, not being able to meet in a room and dance together. And I was in a particular rhythm with teaching all over Europe and in the States. And once this particular dance we're in at the moment with the coronavirus, I was very quiet for a few weeks just to listen, and I spent a lot of time on the beach to listen to the sea. And what I realized is that having a small group where we meet over 6 weeks, to have that kind of island of time each week to drop into the refuge of the dance, and to have these resources that where people can practice. So there's resources, recorded resources and videos to explain a little more about the practice every week, that people can access every week. Felt like, oh, that is the way to go in these times, to really stay in relationship and in connection, and to have that safe container where everyone's committed for 6 weeks. And these journeys have been really a revelation in terms of how much connection we can have, even though we're not in the same space, but to have that consistent connection over 6 weeks, and to have the times in between to practice the resources. So there's guided practices like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40-minute practices that are with my facilitation and music, that you can practice during the week in between the sessions. So that felt like a really good way to meet these times. And this particular one, Circles of Connection, is about using these practices to remind ourselves what we're connected to, how we can resource ourselves to meet what is happening in the world, and then how that impacts us in our body, heart, mind. And those circles of connection are self, others, community, the unseen, the creativity of nature. and then that bigger picture, that divine song that animates and animates all of life. And we take time with these practices how to bring our presence back into the sovereignty of our own being, our own body, heart, and mind, and to resource ourselves to meet these times as creatively as we can.
Beautiful. Yes. So I recommend, I mean, you just experienced a few minutes with him, and it really is freeing. And so I recommend anybody, again, they're very, very affordable. You've been very generous with that. And so I recommend anybody, you grab your spots if you can. There's a Wednesday morning or Sunday morning, depending on your schedules, whatever works best. I will be posting it on the Facebook also. I don't know if anybody has any final questions, or if you have a final word for us. David, I want to thank you deeply for being here and sharing your brilliance with all of my tribe of people. I think they needed to discover, the beauty in your heart and the way you show it through movement medicine. Thank you so much for being here.
I just want to say a big thank you to you, Patty, and for your generosity, and really beautiful to hear your experience of movement medicine. And thank you so much for inviting me here to meet all of you guys. And thank you very much to Carrie, amazing being who's really bringing movement medicine to America in a very beautiful way. And just want to say, one person I didn't mention who was also dancing with us tonight was Guy's daughter, Gaia. So hello, Gaia.
Oh, where's she?
Beautiful that
Oh,
she was joining us in the dance. So
how
just wanted to
beautiful.
mention her name. And thank you to all of you guys. Is Gaia there?
Is she there? Where is she?
Yeah.
I see Sky. Sky's looking for her.
Thank you to all of you for dropping into the dance. It was a real privilege to be with you and to be witness and to share this beautiful practice, which is really deep in my heart. Thank you very much.